Okay, so this is going to be kind of a controversial video. Hopefully, the guys in the white vans don't come and take me away, or I don't get put on the watch list. But I wanted to talk about this ever since the riots broke out. The most effective form of protest, I believe, is something resembling actual rioting. There's a lot of people condemning the riots on TV, acting like violence is never the answer. And, I'm not a big believer in violence. Certainly, there are other ways to achieve things. But I think a key point here is that if these had just been peaceful protests, they would be ignored by the media. They're always ignored by the media. The wealthy and powerful people in this country. Well, first of all, let's just make clear the reason for the protests is probably largely related to the fact that people are tired of being oppressed and economically disadvantaged. And a big part of the reason why they're economically disadvantaged is because the powers that be don't care about giving the poor opportunities. They had opportunities themselves, and they think that everybody had the same opportunities, but the reality is there is not any quality of opportunity out there. So, people get tired of being in a position where they have no opportunity, and eventually they lash out. And that lashing out is what we generally are seeing with these protests. It's ostensibly about police violence, and that's part of it. But this is part of a larger systemic oppression of uh, of economically disadvantaged people. So I guess, you have all these people, media types, and people condemning the violence, but the reality of the matter is, rich people don't care. They will not respond to an argument that they, or they have no connection. See, rich people, the people that are in power who really control things, don't have a connection with the people living in the ghetto. Or those people are alien to rich people. And so you can't ask them to be compassionate or have empathy for these people because they don't understand what it's like to live in that ghetto situation. They live in a world that's separate and isn't subject to the daily frustrations of living in that world. And you can't get through to them with um, you know you can't get through to them emotionally or logically because they just believe what they believe, which is that they worked hard for what they have, and no one's going to take it away from them. But they also don't realize that that attitude is threatening the system that has grown up around that self protection, and they don't realize that they had opportunities because they were wealthy that many other people don't have. Or maybe it's not because they were wealthy, maybe because they were lucky, or you know, they made the right connections at the right time. But but the bottom line is, these people aren't going to care if you protest peacefully. There's been a lot of peaceful protests. I've been involved in a lot of peaceful protests. They don't really accomplish anything. The media barely pays attention to them, and no effective action is taken after they're completed. So the only way you really can get the attention of wealthy people is one of two ways, I think. One, you cost them money. You figure out a way to, uh, you know, it's one Berkeley protester in the 60s put it, throw yourself into the gears of the machine. You prevent the usual profit making from happening by either just disrupting the consumerist process. That's kind of what you see with the rioting. That's one of the reasons why the rioting is effective, because they're going to the CVS and it's costing them profits when they're rioting the CVS. I want to be now. This is part of the problem with this is that it's not focused. People are rioting and stealing from mom and pop stores as well as the big stores. Now, I have no problem with people stealing from CVS. They're a large corporation. They can afford to give up the money, and poor people need the money more than CVS needs the money. So riot CVS all you want, but don't go breaking the windows of little mom and pop stores, people that are barely surviving or just paying, making enough money to pay their way. These are not the targets here. These are not the wealthy and powerful people. If you want to go after the wealthy and powerful people, then only riot the major stores. The big names, the chain stores, the ones that are in every city. That's one thing. If you're gonna riot and you're gonna loot, then loot the companies that can afford to be looted, and the ones that are owned by powerful people that make the rules. That's the first thing I'd say. Be smarter about your rioting. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, those people who rioted CVS, good for you. That's the kind of spirit we need. So, two ways you get through to rich people: you interrupt the flow of business by either rioting, or maybe if you wanted to be less kind of if you wanted to be more Christian about it, or I guess more by the book, as far as if you wanted to make the statement without being seen in a negative light, instead of looting, maybe you just sort of do things to disrupt business, like you go in with mass amounts of people and you just throw stuff off the shelves. That would disrupt business. Or you form a human chain that doesn't allow anyone into the store. That would disrupt business. Or you know you go to the homes of the people who own the companies, and you just be a nuisance. You find ways to be a nuisance. And if you can manage to be a nuisance in a large enough group, the police can't stop you. And that's one of the great things that we're seeing about the riots, is when there's enough people breaking the law together, you can't be stopped because there's not enough jail space for everybody. And I would say, if you want to be your message to be taken more seriously, rather than do things for selfish gain like looting, you instead come together to be civilly disobedient, to make the powerful people's lives a living hell, either by costing them money from their stores or directly intervening. And that's the other way you can scare them. You interrupt the flow of business. Finally get around to part number two. You scare them. You have to scare these people. That's the only two things that it's going to get through to them. They don't care about your appeals to, you know, empathy, or, your sob stories. They don't give a crap. That's not their business. They're only paid to do one thing, and their motivation is one thing, and that is self promotion, self gain, selfish profit motive, short term thinking. So that's all these people understand. So you got to hit them where it hurts. Either you hit them by disrupting their ability to make a profit, or two, you just scare them directly. And you don't have to kill, you don't have to hurt, but you can show your numbers, and that's the kind of thing we need. It's like, um, you know, I would recommend doing it. Basically, the reason why governments are corrupt, people think that governments are inherently corrupt. The reason why governments are corrupt is because corporations donate money to government figures, usually for campaigning purposes, but also for other things, or personal favors or whatever. And that's how government is controlled by people. It's all done through money. So what you have to do is you go after the people like lobbyists, Make lobbyists' lives a living hell if you want to get after the power structure. And don't allow lobbyists to do their job. They're getting paid millions of dollars, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, by major corporations to influence politicians. Well, let's find these people, see where they live, and, get in their way. Don't let them get to work. When they get to work, surround their workplace and make noise constantly. If you have a large enough group of people, they can't arrest everyone for disturbance of the peace. You have to stop the gears of machinery from turning and scare the people. And once you start scaring people, then they will be unable to. Hold on. They'll be unable to perform their functions of corruption. And that's the thing. We have to stop people from performing jobs that are the business of corruption. And the business of corruption is generally lobbying, or extremely wealthy people giving large donations, or a board of directors of a corporation deciding to give a large percentage of their profits to a candidate. Or you have to disrupt either the business process or the people who run the process. And until that's done on a consistent basis, nothing's going to change. So let's get a little more focused here, people. Let's do the right kinds of disruption, because this general kind of unfocused disruption, it's getting attention, but we could be doing a lot better.